So Garden State is in the books. The show was a 2-day show in North Jersey, and I was there just for yesterday, just for Saturday, and I got my book signed. And it's unusual. Normally, when I go to a show, I always end up like this many DC and like this many Marvel. This time, it was all but completely even. So we got an even amount of Marvel and an even amount of DC signed, and then I've got a third stack that's a combination of like Independence and then like G.I. Joe and Star Wars. So I'm just going to do 3 videos. I'll be doing this one, which I'll be posting tonight on Sunday evening. Then I'll be making the other 2 videos, which are going to be on Monday and on Tuesday. Then my intention, not my promise, but my intention is on Friday I will do a video telling you about the highs and lows of the weekend. And then on Saturday I'll do the previous week's signed comics, and then on Sunday I'll do this current week's signed comics. So that's the intention. Whether I'm successful in that, don't know, but we'll find out. So I'm not going to go through every single book, but I'm at least going to do this where I take the book and turn it over. So the first one, of course, Keith Williams. And here earlier this year, I had Glenn Whitmore sign. Of course, he puts here my first DC job because he did the bonus book. So this one signed by Keith Williams. Then Mandrake. Mike DiCarlo doing Batman, issue 441. And we know this one, The Lonely Place in Dying, where we have Tim Drake is right here, and Tim Drake will eventually become the Robin. So it's pretty much, this miniseries was designed, or miniseries within the series was designed to create a new Robin. And of course, DC Comics presents Superman introducing Superwoman, Mike DiCarlo, one shot. Always loved these guys. Earth 2, signed by Andy Smith. I have to say, even though this was one of Andy's final jobs, this one honestly is got to be one of my favorites, because he was paired up with a really good inker and a really good colorist, and it really showed through with how his pencils were treated. So even though it was like towards the end, this was a really good book. Andy was, in my opinion, storytelling wise, drawing wise, style wise, Andy was firing all cylinders. Then Green Lantern, Huckleberry Hound. Rick Laird had already signed this at a previous con, so got Tom Mandrake to sign it. Kim DeMolder, he did this one for Green Lantern Annual. And then Green Lantern Corps Quarterly, Kim DeMolder already had Andrew Pepoy and Jim Ballant sign it. So having Kim DeMolder sign it, very, very nice. Joe Staton with Guy Gardner. Graham Nolan. Now, I had already had this one signed by Tim Truman in 2016, and then Michael Gold, so had to have Graham sign it. Now, this one here, this was actually the advertisement for the book. It was like a one sheet that you would pick up that came out, like that they had sitting on the counter at comic book stores months before the show, or before the con began, or before the series debuted. And so I found this amongst my stuff, so I had Graham sign it. Then, of course, we have Graham. This is a postcard promoting Nightfall, with the Batman versus, the kid who basically was the pretender Batman. So this was, and when I showed this to Graham, Graham's very first response was, "I still have the artwork to this." So, and then of course, this one here, this one I was going to have signed by Joe Rubinstein, but he was not there. So I've had this one for years. Wanted to have Joe Rubinstein to sign it. He was not there at the show. So yeah. Tom Mandrake with the original Justice League of America series, issue 240. He said it was one of the few times the one time he got to do Don Heck. And then Justice League of America, issue 3940, signed by Mark Bagley. Why did I get these two signed? But of course, Why did I have him sign? Because of that guy right there. Even when he's dead, I gotta have my Vibe comic signed. Andy Smith with Justice Society of America, 80-page giant. That was a nice one. Then Michelle Delecky, she signed this book. She was like, "Oh, you got my ex-husband to sign it." So she was a very delightful person to talk to. So I had her sign it. Legion by Chris Batista. He did issue 20, issue 22, and issue 23. The reason why I had him sign all three of them is because Chris Batista, he loved this DC team, and whenever you show one of these comic books for him to sign, he always lights up, and he just go on and on about how much he loved working on that series. And then of course issue 38, same series, Andy Smith. It was Andy Smith over Dan Jurgens, and of course he's covered by Kevin Nolan. And of course, The Rock, Last Brigade. When Billy, once again, as soon as I showed these to him, he said he's going to try to get he's going to try to lease the IP from DC so he can reprint this with all the production material that he has. And I don't have the entire series, but I have issues 1, 2, 3, and 6. So I don't have the whole series. I'm still looking for 4 and 5, so keeping an eye out, but I got him to sign all those issues I do have. Then Michelle Delecky, she was very again, because I had Tom Mandrake and Shane already signed this one. And when she saw this, she was like, "I've never seen this cover before. Oh my goodness." And I looked at her and I said, and she goes, "Who did this cover?" And I was like, "I know it's not Kevin Nolan. You would think it is, but apparently it's not Kevin Nolan. It's someone else." I honestly, at the top of my head, I cannot even think about who it was, or I can't pronounce his name. Pretty much both. So, but no, she was very very complimentary of. She didn't speak anything ill of her ex-husband. So nice to have her sign both of those books. Chris Ivy even said, he goes, how much he loved inking over Paul Ryan. Told him how much I love Paul Ryan's artwork, and if I can't get Paul Ryan because he's not with us anymore, at least if I can try to get someone who worked with him to sign a book that he did. Colleen Doran, she even admits how she was like, "Oh, I love doing this job." She goes, "I did a horrible job, but I love doing it. I thought she did a great job, and I love it." Mike DiCarlo over the Titans. Mike DiCarlo again, and this is where they really bring in Shashar. Remember, Shashar, she actually debuted in annual number 2, I think it was, because it was annual 3 was they did the Judas contract, and it was the annual prior to that is where she made her debut. Well, this is where they really brought her front and center. And then Bud De La Rosa, I had already had Paul Pellier sign it last year, so I had Bud La Rosa sign this one and this one, so very nice. And then of course we had Colleen Doran with over Wonder Woman, then Colleen Doran again with the Who's Who in the Legion of Superheroes. Now, Who's Who in Star Trek. Jan Durasma for issue number 1, Colleen Doran for issue number 2. With G.I. Joe and Star Wars, I'm not going to have enough to do 365 days. So when I get done with G.I. Joe, I'm going to do Star Wars first, then do G.I. Joe. After I've done G.I. Joe, whatever I have left over, whether it be 10 days I still need to fill, or whether it's 20 days or 40 days, whatever it is, I'm going to be using other sci-fi properties to fill in the rest of that year. So Star Trek 1 and 2 of Who's Who, definitely going to be part of it. With luck, maybe I'll have some other signatures in either issues 1 or 2. We don't know. Tune in and find out in 2026. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of all the signed books for 2020. For the Garden State Comic Fest or DC. Tune in tomorrow for what Marvel books I had done. Until then, remember everybody, life is stressful. Just take it all one dot at a time.